In this video, I want to touch on MOQs, which stands for Minimum Order Quantity. Now, when you're searching through the Alibaba search results, you'll notice that it says minimum order quantity. And what this typically is standing for is what is the smallest amount that you can order from a supplier at a time. Don't pay much attention to this number that they have listed there. It's going to be some skyrocketing number that isn't really relative. Now, all of these numbers are negotiable, just like price, as we talked about in the actual Alibaba tutorial video where I went in and started talking to the different factories and suppliers. A few things we want to keep in mind when it comes to minimum order quantities is that these factories are going to want you to order as much as possible. But we're going to talk about now how much should you order at a time and how can you get a supplier to go down on what they say is their minimum order quantity. Let's first talk about how much you should order at a time. So you really want to factor in how much is production and then how much is shipping. There's the time frame, shipping time frames and production time frames, and then add on about a week or so just for a buffer. So for many products, the production time is roughly 30 days. And if you're doing sea shipping, for example, shipping can be another 25 days or so. So right there, you're at 55 days. You add on another week and now you're at 62 days, okay? So what that means is you need to order 62 days worth of product. In addition to that, another 30 days worth of product. That's what I recommend. What this means is that once your product lands at Amazon, you'll have a good solid 30 days of selling before you'll have to reorder. That'll take into account that production time, that shipping time, and about a week buffer in between. It's important that you don't run out of stock on Amazon of your product. Now, if you're out of stock for a few days, it's fine, but if you're out of stock for a month or weeks at a time, this can really hurt a lot of your hard work that you've put in getting your product up the search rankings of Amazon. Once you run out of stock, product stops selling, and sales velocity is what drives mainly Amazon's algorithm and how well you rank for different keywords. So you can put in all this work. Next thing you know, you're ranking on the front page for some of your main, biggest keywords for your product, and then you go out of stock. And once you go out of stock, a week goes by, 2 weeks go by, and you know what? Other products are ticking those sales that yours would have had, and you will start to slip down those rankings. And then once your product comes back in, you got a whole uphill battle. So I recommend for your first order to order a month extra worth of inventory. So whether you're shipping by air, whether you're shipping express air, whether you're shipping sea, whether your product takes 2 weeks to produce or whether it takes 60 days to produce, take that amount, add another month on in that week-long buffer. This way you'll be taking into consideration when you have that 1 month of selling, you'll know, okay, do I need to order more next time? Is this product not selling very well? And thankfully I only have about 2 months worth of stock. And then you can go from there. Now, what if when you look on Amazon and you run the Jungle Scout extension, it says you need to order X amount of products. And when you go to the supplier and you calculate that time frame, you notice they say, sorry, we can only do, let's say if it's 500 units, they say, sorry, we can only do 1,000 units. Well, what can you do then? Are you straight out of luck? No, remember, these numbers are negotiable. So here are a few things that you can try. The first off is tell them a little bit about your business. What I like to say is something along the lines of, I'm a large seller, or you could say, I'm an Amazon seller and looking to get into this niche and really make a huge splash. And I'm looking at cooperating one supplier for a long term. And for that to happen, I need to test the market first. So on this first order, if we could please do the 500 quantity order so I can test the market, and once I test it, then I can order a lot larger on my next mass order. I try to help them to say, think long term, right? This is just the beginning of our association, our cooperation together. And even though this is a smaller order, think about the next order. And a lot of times they'll say, you know what, let me talk to the manager. And sometimes they come back right away and say, you know what, you're right. Now, what else can you do to lower the minimum order quantity if it's really high? Well, one option is to offer paying a higher rate for the smaller amount of products. Now, no doubt they've already quoted you a higher rate because you're not ordering this giant amount of products in your first order. But if they're saying, nope, sorry, we won't do it at all, you can say, you know what, I'll pay even a little bit more higher. Realize to yourself too that this is long-term thinking. Long-term thinking is, you know what, I may have to pay extra for this one order. However, when I do reorder, I know the price will be at this other price point, but I need to find a way to test this market, to get my feet wet and to get in. So let's say you just break even on that first shipment. Oh, that's totally fine. If you break even, knowing that on your next shipment you're going to get that highly discounted rate, and now you have the confidence to order larger in this market, then that's a perfect case scenario. So try to remember that those minimum order quantities are always negotiable. Help the supplier to see that this is a test run, and once it goes well, you're going to be cooperating with them for a long time, and it's going to be big business for you and them. And if they still won't budge, tell them and offer them to pay an even higher price for that small amount, that lower minimum order quantity. And even if that means you don't quite make as much as you would like to on that first shipment, think long term and realize that now I can test the market. Even if I break even, it can give me the confidence to order larger on the next order, which will give me that reduced rate on my products. So I hope this helps you guys in regards to minimum order quantity, MOQs.